Hey everyone, Amanda here. I'm hoping that this video finds you well. Clearly, I've been playing with some hair dye while I'm here in quarantine, because why not? Um, I don't know about y'all, but I've definitely had a lot of time for personal reflection and a lot of really amazing insight coming through, actually, with some stuff I feel like I've been stuck on or um, just fighting with internally for a long time. So I'm really grateful for that, and I'm just going to share a little bit of some awareness that came through for me last night. Yeah, I mean, the truth is, there's been a lot that I've been struggling with internally uh, for a while now. And what has started to come through, well, first of all, I feel like what has had to happen is I've had to really get to a point where I am humbled enough by what I'm feeling to ask for help spiritually, but also just from the other people in my life. And you know, I'm going to use the term twin flames because it's something that people can understand, or that it's a term that helps people understand a certain type of experience. But I prefer the term sacred partnership, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to talk in terms of twin flames. And I think for those of us who are twins, and even if you're not, this is relevant. So I guess I should preface with whenever we have a connection with another person, regardless of what it is, that person is a mirror to us. So they have the ability to teach us something. We can grow from that connection in some way. Now, sacred partnerships, twin flames, sacred unions, those types of connections are just very intense, and they tend to be a very powerful mirror for us into our own internal world. And they also tend to trigger us at a very deep level so that we do our own inner work and inner healing. So take the nuggets of this that resonate for you and your situation, but I have to talk, from my experience. So I guess what it is it's very easy to look at your twin and see what they're going through and say, oh, okay, well, he's clearly struggling with self-worth and identity. Oh, well, he's clearly absorbing people's judgments of him that aren't the truth. It's not who he really is, and he's having to dismantle those things in order to become a new version of himself. And it's really easy to see that when we project it out onto another person. And what I was having a hard time with is like, oh, well, I've been doing my inner work, for a long time. I feel like I do feel worthy of love. I feel like I do have, a strong sense of who I am. And so I was confused seeing this mirrored back to me, like, well, this can't be right. Something's wrong. And then I'm beating myself up because it's not looking the way I expect it to, which kind of goes back to self-worth, right? Self-worth is something that you should be able to have regardless of the outer circumstance. So, right. But obviously this was something that wasn't, I wasn't aware of, or I felt like the pieces weren't being put together. I wasn't understanding. And I think something finally clicked for me. That was this, growing up, I grew up in a very small town, and I felt like always that other people's opinions or expectations of me were put on top of me. And so it kind of felt like I could never fully reveal who I was. It felt like I had to hide the parts of me that I didn't feel like other people could handle. And it also, you got a lot of people telling you who you are or what role you filled or how to be. And I think I spent a lot of my teenage years, and especially my years in college, trying to break down those definitions that other people gave me. Trying to become who I really wanted to be, and not maybe what other people's preconceived notions were. And I think I thought I did a really good job of that. But I think the layer I'm discovering now is maybe externally, yes, I have really tried to build a life that feels authentic for me, but there's still an inner piece of me that was still identifying with the old story. So I hope this makes sense. This idea that, okay, externally, I'm not trying to live my life for anyone else. I'm not trying to fit into a role that isn't one I want to play. But internally, every time my life doesn't look like that other expectation, I'm beating myself up. And thank goodness for good friends. And I'm an air sign, so I tend to need to talk things out when I'm having a problem. And thank goodness I have wonderful friends who listen and who, really are willing to have these deep conversations with me. But recently, two of my very good friends basically looked at me on video call and they were like, Amanda, you need to be kinder to yourself. Oh, I say two friends, actually three. I've had 3 or 4 friends, really good friends in the last few weeks, be like, you are beating the crap out of yourself. Which is funny because this is something I know and I've witnessed my twin do. I see him just beat the crap out of himself internally for everything he feels like isn't perfect about what he's done or mistakes or whatever that is. And I had these conversations with my friends and they were just pointing out to me, you allow everybody else to be human. You have forgiven people for things they've said to you that you know they didn't mean. You have had compassion for when people are in pain and they speak or act out of pain and they're not being the best version of themselves. Why can't you allow that for yourself? And I really had to explore that. Why? Why is that? Well, part of this is growing up, I had a lot of people tell me I was perfect. So I was the girl who got perfect grades in school. I was pretty. I was successful. I was smart. I was talented, blah, 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 blah. Which are supposedly good labels to receive. But for me, people use them as weapons against me. They used it as reasons to distance themselves from me. So I felt that people weren't friends with me or didn't want to be around me because they thought that I was better than them. I was perfect and they would never live up to it. So that has been a reason for a lot of feelings of isolation and rejection for me. So interesting. So I've held myself to this impossibly high standard because somebody at some point labeled me perfect. And now I'm trying to live up to this thing that I don't even believe I need to live up to. But I'm doing it totally subconsciously. Isn't that crazy? It was kind of crazy for me to realize. But when you realize it and you start to shine a light on it, then you can bring compassion and love into that space. And I've cultivated a lot of tools for holding space and holding compassion for other people. And the amazing thing is that means that I can then use those things and give it to myself. So that's been really my focus recently, and that's been the awareness that's coming through is, another facet of my life that's been kind of criticized over the years is my idealism. I have a view of what I feel the world could be and how things don't usually live up to that. So people say, oh, you're naive. You're naive to think that the world could be better, or especially in the realm of romance and love. I've always believed in true love, always believed in great love, an epic love story. And that's something people laugh at. Or that's something people minimize because, I don't know, they have their own insecurities about it and their own journeys about it. And so, again, there's this part of me that, I love very brave and very big. But there was a part of me that was judging myself every time I did it. And it's not me at all. It's these external judgments that have somehow become a part of my internal programming. So my authentic self and me trying to live in alignment with my authentic self is now at war with the programs that are stuck in my system that were probably never mine to begin with. So the work here is that we actually dismantle those within ourselves. We dismantle the parts of us that aren't, the belief systems that aren't authentic. And then we're able to, our inner work actually causes a ripple effect outward. So that's really cool to think about that. Okay, well, maybe a large group of people believe that true love isn't real, for example. That's an idealistic thing. That's something that's portrayed in movies and it's not real. But if one person decides, I actually believe in that and I'm going to pursue that and I'm going to live my life as if this is the truth. Well, if one person can have true love and connection, then that opens up the possibility that everybody can. And so you see how the ripple can go outward from there. And I've been really lucky to see a number of couples that are really proving that true. I hope that this kind of stream of consciousness made sense and was coherent. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that doing that inner reflection and going inward, it might be an interesting thing to do to try to ask yourself, is there an inner voice or an inner program that's running that's actually circumventing your authentic truth? Is there a part of you that's sabotaging your own dreams? Is there a part of you that's judging you for living the life that you desire or that you dream of? Because we have to find ways to lovingly disinvite that voice in order to move forward and to really have the things that are what we deserve, really. I mean, every person on this planet deserves to have the life of their dreams. Every person here deserves to have true, authentic, real love. Everybody deserves to be able to wake up in the morning and do something that feels fulfilling to them. And so it's really up to us to do our inner work to allow us to show up for the mission work, the real purpose for why we're here. And that's like a whole nother story. But yeah, I wanted to put that out there because it felt like a pretty big breakthrough for me. And it put a lot of things into perspective and into context. So I'm going to not be listening to those voices anymore. And I'm going to be doing the self-compassion work on allowing myself to be flawed and also just giving myself love as I pursue the things I'm dreaming of. So I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I hope if anything I've said resonates for you or you have a topic you want to ask me about, I'd love to hear what you have to say. So you can comment below or send me a message, and just sending you lots of love today. Bye.